All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thursday night football week number 10. We got the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. In today's video, I'm going to dive into this game. I'm going to give you my thoughts and leans on the side. I'll give you my lean on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, all of my final plays, so what I'm actually rolling with myself and what I like the most, those will be listed for free in the pinned comment. In terms of how we did last week, there were some good things that happened and some bad things, but in terms of the good, we'll talk about the bad in a second. A 10-0 NFL week. Are you kidding me? A 10-0 week, 3-0 on Thursday, 5-0 on Sunday, and then Cade Otton cleans up for us last night on Monday Night Football. We're recording this on Tuesday, so pumping some more damn crowd noise. A 10-0 week in the NFL. But like I said, there is some news going on here. All right, if you guys aren't aware, you're actually watching on a new channel, More Guy Boston Sports. I've been keeping people more up to date over on Twitter/X at FGuyBoston if you want to follow me there on what's going on with our main channel, the one that we just hit 100,000 subscribers on. But for the time being, this is going to be the channel that we are posting on. So if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, commenting, and liking, it's kind of a, I guess, tough time right now. So I really would appreciate you guys supporting this channel as we're taking it from zero, which really sucks to hit 100K and then have to come over here. And so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and comment to help us out. I really would appreciate it. All right, so the Ravens are coming into this one 6-3. They're coming off of a stomping of the Denver Broncos 41-10. They're 6-3 straight up, 5-3-1 against the spread. They've hit 8 overs of their 9 games so far this year. That is absolutely crazy, but makes sense when you have one of the best offenses, if not the best offense in the league, paired with maybe not the best defense, right? Bengals, not exactly in the same boat. They're 4-5 straight up. They are 5-4 against the spread, so give them a little bit of credit there. They're 4-0 against the spread on the road, which are on the road here, 3-1 straight up on the road, and they've hit 6 of their 9 games hitting the over. So we have 2 great offenses here. I don't think either defense is all that tremendous. That's why we see a total at 52.5, but makes a little bit of sense why Baltimore's at home here. Obviously having a really good year, seemingly getting better as well, and they're laying 6.5 points. So if we want to take a peek at these teams, in fact, let's go ahead and jump into our dashboard here. You can see that Cincinnati and Baltimore both have had some really good offensive success on the season. Cincinnati, 7th best points per game. Baltimore, 2nd. In terms of the rushing yards, though, looks like Baltimore's doing just fine passing. So is Cincinnati. But like I said, in terms of the rushing yards, there's a little bit of a 2 different sides of the story situation going on here. We have Cincinnati ranked as the 27th team in terms of rushing yards per game, whereas Derrick Henry and the Ravens, 192 rushing yards per game. Obviously, Lamar's contributing to that as well, but just worth noting, both offenses look pretty good. One of them is doing it in both facets, both passing and on the ground. Even from a DVOA perspective, bottom left of your screen right now, Baltimore, 2nd ranked team, offensively number 1, passes first, rushes first, and their run defense is steadily getting better. It's at 3rd now in terms of defensive DVOA rankings, but that pass defense still struggles. So we'll talk about that in a little bit because Cincinnati, actually the 5th best pass offense from a DVOA perspective. So where do we go from a lean perspective here? First off, the last time we saw these 2 teams play was a few weeks ago, right? Back in early October. It was in Cincinnati, and that was a shootout of a game, 41-38. So the Bengals did lose the game, but they covered that 6.5 number. I don't necessarily love that here. No, I will say, out of everything we'll talk in this video, this is probably my least favorite spot. But I do think that the Ravens kind of have the upper hand here as the season, is in full swing. We're getting into the second half of the season. They are the better team. They're 3-1 at home. I just think that they're a little bit more polished both offensively and defensively. Obviously more polished offensively than anything, but I'm going to lean towards the Ravens here minus the 6.5 points. If this gets to 7 or 7.5, I either leave it alone, don't touch it, or might even flip back to the Bengals, okay? So not the biggest margin of where my mind's coming out here. From a total perspective, I don't mind the idea of a potential over, sure, but where I would actually look is probably a Bengals team total over 20.5. Now that's a little bit juiced, minus 160 on MGM. If you want to look at it at over 21.5, minus 140 on MGM and DraftKings, but I can rationalize paying that much juice for a team that has done this in two of the last 3 games against the Ravens. The only one that they didn't, they scored 20 points last year. They've hit this in 6 of 9 games so far this season, and when you look at where the Ravens have come out, only 2 times, one of them being Denver, 2 times in 9 games, the opposing team has not gotten to 21 points. So as the Bengals offense does look better, they're coming off of a 40-plus performance against the against the Raiders. I do think that this is a spot in which, yeah, maybe they don't keep this game close. Maybe it is still a shootout, but the best look here may just be say, hey, go get some points, Cincinnati, because this is not a very good pass defense. So I like the Bengals over 20.5 from a team total perspective. Like I said, I don't mind the full game over, but I honestly favorite sort of side/game pick here would probably Bengals team total over 20.5. I do want to mention that there are some obvious injuries here, mostly on the, I guess you could say, defensive side of things for the Bengals, but Zach Moss is doubtful. Chase Brown's obviously been playing well, so I don't think that that's that big of a loss. We have Joe Burrow, who is banged up with the wrist, but he's been a full participant in practice. T. Higgins is doubtful, so there are definitely things that you're like, maybe their offense isn't all that great, but we just saw them score 40-plus points against a Raiders defense that isn't that great, but I'm not giving the flowers to the pass defense of the Ravens either, right? So Bengals over 20.5 is probably my favorite game look here. Now, outside of game looks, we will get into player props in just a second, but I wanted to talk to you about Underdog, guys. They have a Lamar Jackson 0.5 total yards square right now. You're also going to get a sign-up bonus if you use the link in the pinned comment, and Lamar 0.5 total yards. That's not just passing yards. That is either running yards or passing yards. And we know Lamar can do both. All he needs is 1 yard in this game and this one smack. So go ahead and check out Underdog, guys. Again, you're going to get a deposit and sign-up bonus as well with the link in the pinned comment as well as the description. Go ahead and check out Underdog. All right, jumping into our first player prop here, I'm liking Joe Burrow over 1.5 passing touchdowns. You can see his last 10 games, 6 of those last 10, but all 6 have come this year. So he's hitting 6 of 9 games on the road so far this year. You can see here too, he's hitting 3 of 4. So he's hit this in 75% of his road games. Baltimore ranking 28th in terms of passing touchdowns against. You can see they're allowing 2 per game. Even if we flip over to their recent games and game logs against, you can see starting with the most recent game, okay, Bo Nix, not the most tremendous quarterback. This is not the Bo Nix hate show, but not the most tremendous quarterback, right? But Jameis throws for 3 against them. Baker throws for 3. Jaden Daniels throws for 2. Joe Burrow, last time he played them, threw for 5. Yes, this was the off game when, the Ravens dominated the Bills. So Josh Allen 0, Dak Prescott 2, and then sure, week 1 and week 2, Patrick Mahomes only threw for 1, but Gardner Minshew, I'm not all that sold on him, right? So as of late, with the exception of Bo Nix, if you want to read into that, sure, but since the last time they played Cincinnati, including that one, you've seen 13 touchdowns in 4 weeks. With the exception of Bo Nix. Even 13 in the last 5 weeks, you could say that this is on pace to hit the over, right, in terms of that trend. So I like this spot here. Even if we look at where we see the red zone defense and whatnot, this is one of the most efficient red zone offenses in the league in the Bengals, which I know they've been struggling at times. This hasn't been their best season, but overall, you could see 3rd best red zone efficiency team going up against a middle-of-the-pack Ravens defense in the red zone, and this is super important to me as well. 3rd and 3rd down conversion, whereas the Ravens can't get off the field, so that means more extended drives for Joe Burrow, right? So I do like the idea of, I guess, Joe Burrow being able to come in here and throw for 2 touchdowns, and that also definitely contributes to what we talked about before here, the over 20.5 for their team total. This tool I'm using right now is called Outlier. In the description, I'll get 7 days free for you guys with that link in the description, as well as the pinned comment. This is a great research tool. I stand by Outlier. We've worked with them for years. Literally nothing compares to it, in my opinion, for all sports, not just NFL. But go ahead and check it out. You can see how dynamic and how versatile it is. Go check out Outlier. That link is in the pinned comment, as well as the description. So the next player prop I like is using this part of our dashboard here. You could see Cincinnati allowing tight ends a 38% production increase against that position. So I'm looking at Mark Andrews, like his over 32.5 receiving yards. Even if it's a little bit more, I don't mind. You can see right here is that last game against Cincinnati. He had 55. He's hit this in 2 of the 3 so far. And like I mentioned, tight ends have had a good season against Cincinnati. 25th in terms of preventing them from getting those yards. I also don't mind maybe a peek at his over in touchdowns, plus 220. He had 4 touchdowns in the last 4 weeks right now. Obviously, he's been hit or miss because Likely's there and whatnot, but Likely is questionable in this spot, so I think that's worth noting. And then even looking at this, Likely is the only true receiver that outranks Andrews this season in terms of red zone target percentage. So I like this spot. We already talked about the red zone efficiency. Mark Andrews' yards, as well as him to potentially score a touchdown, is something that I'm considering as well. Now, guys, those are what I'm liking so far, but like I said, we're recording this a few days before the game, a couple days before the game, so keep an eye on the pinned comment. If we add anything or change anything, I'll put all the plays that I'm actually rolling with myself down there. But I will say thank you guys very much for tuning into this. Obviously a new channel. I want you guys to know that we're going to work our you-know-what's off to try and get the 100,000 subscriber channel back in full swing, but I just don't really know where we stand right now. There hasn't been the most, it's been pretty vague in terms of what I know about what's going on. So if you wouldn't mind supporting this channel like it's the other one, so smash that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. It truly would mean the world to me because I don't necessarily know what the future is. Obviously, this is my livelihood and whatnot, kind of scary. So if you can find it in your soul, in your heart, to take 2 seconds to hit the 2 free buttons, like and subscribe, and then also comment, that would mean the world to me. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, peace out.